Hi friends, welcome to another video of All Things Money. In this video, we're going to take a look at Zomato's planned IPO, which will be the first tech unicorn listing in India. We will take a look at Zomato's history, their revenue sources, the growth opportunities, business challenges, and look at how recent food delivery IPOs have performed globally, and then eventually look at the IPO details and how it could perform. Before continuing, I'd like to remind the viewers that the contents discussed in this channel are intended for educational purposes only and not intended to be financial advice. In the year 2008, IIT Delhi alumni Deepinder Goyal and Pankaj Chadha started an intra-company food ordering app while they were working at Bain & Company in Delhi. They posted the menu on their intranet site called FoodieBay, which solved the problem of employees standing in long queues to order their favorite meal. Encouraged by its success, they made the app public, launching the service in Delhi. FoodieBay was renamed as Zomato in the year 2010, which is also when they received their first funding of $1 million from InfoEdge for 33% equity in the company. Since then, there has been no looking back. Zomato has grown phenomenally to deliver food in more than 500 cities in India and over 10,000 cities in 24 countries across the world. InfoEdge has been funding Zomato's growth by investing in multiple rounds till 2015, at one point holding more than 50% stake in the company, which eventually got diluted to around 8.4%. After many other marquee investors such as Tiger Global, Sequoia, Temasek, Quora, Ant Financial, Alipay, Y Capital, etc. have been pumping money into the company in different rounds. Zomato has raised more than 14,000 crore or $2.1 billion across 21 funding rounds since its founding. Majority of Zomato's revenues are derived from services it offers to restaurant partners who subscribe to its platform. These include ads, subscription fees, transaction processing fees, etc. Next come the revenue from sale of goods through their B2B platform Hyperpure, through which they supply ingredients and kitchen supplies to restaurants and other kitchens. After which comes the fee they earn when subscribers order food via their app or portal. Total revenue of the company, according to the draft red herring prospectus that they filed with SEBI, has been rising significantly from financial year 2018 to financial year 2020, where it has grown from 487 crore rupees in 2018 to rupees 2,742.7 crore in 2020. For financial year 2021, the company has reported a revenue of 1,367.6 crore in the first 3 quarters. Being a fast-growing tech company, expenses have also been keeping up with the rise in revenue, resulting in losses going up as well. The company reported loss of rupees 104 crore in 2018, which has risen to rupees 2,363 crore in financial year 2020 and is at 684.1 crore in the first 3 quarters of financial year 2021. The COVID pandemic, although it hurt the business during the first phase of the lockdown due to most of the restaurants being closed, has been a blessing in disguise for food delivery companies such as Zomato, because the number of people ordering food from home using these platforms has risen significantly. This is reflected in key numbers reported by Zomato recently. Their total food delivery orders rose from 30.6 million in financial year 2018 to a staggering 403.1 million in financial year 2020. During the same period, the gross order value also rose from rupees 1,334 crore to rupees 11,221 crore in financial year 2020. Let us now look at the market composition and the opportunities that Zomato has for sustaining long-term growth. Being a consumer tech-focused company, Zomato will do well as the internet penetration in the country expands. Out of the 1.3 billion plus population in India, only 43% have access to internet. This is far lower compared to 88% in the US and 63% in China. The total food consumption in India is estimated to be around rupees 48.9 lakh crore or $670 billion. Of this, non-home cooked food or restaurant food segment contributes to just 10% of the market. In countries such as America and China, the non-home cooked food market is around 54% and 58% of the total food consumption market respectively. As per a Google Boston Consulting Group report, the food tech market is set to grow at 25% CAGR in India to hit around $8 billion or around rupees 58,000 crore in 2022. Now, if that growth rate is sustained, the market size could double by 2025. Zomato's tech capabilities and strong logistics and delivery network also provides them an opportunity to enter into other delivery verticals such as quick commerce, stepping into a company such as Google-backed Dunzo's territory. Another vertical that has big market potential is the grocery delivery market. In fact, Zomato did venture into this space through their Zomato Market initiative but ended up discontinuing the service. However, with their biggest competitor Swiggy pushing into this space via Instamart and Super Daily offerings, Zomato would not want to be left behind. That is why they are looking to acquire stake in grocery delivery firm Grofers. Zomato did try to acquire Grofers in an all-stock deal worth around $750 million or rupees 5,500 crore last year, but failed to do so. However, now there are reports suggesting that they are planning to invest around $100 million or rupees 730 crore into the company in order to forge a partnership in the grocery delivery space. Zomato has been on a fundraising spree in the last 1 year and reportedly has a cash balance of around 6,500 crore, which will rise to 14,000 crore after the IPO. I believe they will be using a chunk of this cash pile to grow inorganically through acquisitions or strategic investments. Zomato has in the past made multiple acquisitions. Notable ones include Uber Eats India, Tungsten, which is a restaurant delivery app, Nextable in the US, etc. To me, one of the interesting acquisitions is their recent buyout of Fitsoap, a sports facilities provider and discovery app, for around 80 to 100 crore rupees. I'm not sure if the intent of this purchase is purely technology focused or if Zomato desires to expand into verticals outside the food delivery space. The key challenge to Zomato is competition, intense competition. Zomato, along with Swiggy, garners 90% market share in the food delivery space in India. Swiggy has also been on a fundraising spree, closing an $800 million or rupees 5,800 crore deal from marquee investors valuing the company at $5 billion or rupees 36,500 crore. As I pointed out earlier, Swiggy has been actively building their quick commerce and grocery delivery verticals while Zomato is trying to catch up. Other startups that could be causing sleepless nights to Zomato and Swiggy executives are those such as Peppo and Google-backed DotPe. The reason why restaurant and cloud kitchen owners like these startups is because they provide direct access to customers who place the orders through the app, while Swiggy and Zomato do not. Also, these startups charge or plan to charge 10 to 15% commission on order value, whereas their bigger competitors charge anywhere between 25 to 30% of the order value. Another cause for concern for Zomato is Amazon's entry into the food delivery space. Amazon began its pilot in Bangalore in 4 zip codes last year and has quickly grown the service to 60 plus zip codes now, catering to over 2,500 restaurants and cloud kitchens. Amazon Food is currently offering free deliveries to its prime customers. With their deep pockets and access to capital at nearly 0% interest rate due to the low rates in the US, Amazon is definitely expected to take a lion's share of the food delivery market. Now that Amazon is foraying into the food delivery space, I would not be surprised if Reliance also enters this space through their JioMart initiative. It might not be that difficult for them to leverage the tech and delivery network capabilities that they are already building to cater to the food delivery space, considering the growing market size and potential of this segment. Zomato filed the draft red herring prospectus with SEBI at the end of April this year. If you guys are interested in reading the fine print, I've posted the link in the description from where it can be accessed. They intend to raise a total sum of rupees 8,250 crore, of which rupees 7,500 crore will be a fresh issue, and the remaining 750 crore is an offer for sale that will enable their biggest shareholder, InfoEdge, partly offload their stake. InfoEdge, the parent company of Naukri, first made a 5 crore rupees investment in Zomato in 2010 and has invested a total amount of rupees 550 crore in later rounds. With Zomato's pre-IPO valuation based on latest investment rounds at around $5.4 billion, InfoEdge's 18.4% stake is valued close to $1 billion or at around rupees 7,250 crore. Based on pre-IPO placement and other parameters, analysts expect Zomato to be valued at around $6 billion to $8 billion in the IPO. Globally, we've seen contradicting results from recent food delivery IPOs. DoorDash, which holds around 50% market share in the US food delivery space, had a stellar IPO listing in December 2020. The company was valued at around $16 billion based on pre-IPO fundraising and priced at IPO at $102 per share, which translated to $32 billion valuation. As if that was not enough, The stock closed at around $190 per share on listing day at a staggering valuation of $60 billion. It has since corrected a bit and is now trading at a market value of $49 billion, which is still 53% above its IPO valuation. On the contrary though, the IPO of Deliveroo, a food tech company that holds around 26% market share in the UK, flopped in its listing in the London Stock Exchange in March this year. The Amazon-backed company priced its IPO at $10.5 billion valuation or at £3.9 per share. However, the stock fell 30% on listing day to close at £2.87 per share, valued at around $7.7 billion. It is currently trading at £2.51 per share or a valuation of around $6.7 billion, which is lower by around 37% from their IPO valuation. The reason cited for this poor show is the lofty valuations and worker rights issues that has been raised. The tech space globally has been seeing an investor frenzy with global tech behemoths doing well. Not just the biggies, even startup ideas had found enormous funding, which was evident from the listing of many SPACs in the Nasdaq. Zomato will be the first tech unicorn IPO in India and might pave the way for many other tech startups to be listed here. If we look at some of the other tech IPOs such as Affle India or IndiaMart Intermesh, they have done phenomenally well. The IPO timelines for Zomato have not been released yet, but I think the overall market environment will play a significant role in the company's listing. Markets around the globe are flush with high levels of liquidity, which is the main reason why stock markets and crypto markets have been trading at record levels despite the global economy being impacted by the COVID pandemic. We have seen some cooling off of this frenzy in the crypto and SPAC markets in the US recently, and if this gush of liquidity continues, I believe Zomato will have a bumper listing provided the market value at listing does not raise too many questions. Valuation is key. At $350 million revenue in financial year 2020, Zomato's current private valuation of $5.4 billion is around 15 times revenue. DoorDash and Grubhub in the US are trading at around 12 and 5 times their revenue respectively. So valuation is definitely going to be the key. Also, with just 10% stake being offloaded, I don't think many subscribers will get the allotment. In that case, I believe InfoEdge is going to be a good proxy investment which could do well if Zomato has a bumper listing. I also personally believe that a standalone investment into InfoEdge is good as the company has a big list of diversified tech businesses and investments as part of its portfolio. That is all for this video, folks. Hope the information provided was useful. I posted the link to our Telegram channel where we provide regular updates on trading, investment and market updates, which I'm sure will be very useful. I would also like to announce that if you guys end up breaking your mouse or keypad when smashing the like and subscribe buttons of this video, I'll pay for them. But really, do hit the like and subscribe buttons and keep watching out for more such useful content in this channel. Thank you.